Bam, look at him go. There we go there. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's another teener, it looks like. Hey folks, Dieter Melhorn here, headed up to a lake I haven't filmed on in a long time. And that is Lake Norman in North Carolina. Lake Norman's right outside of Charlotte, the largest lake in North Carolina. It's on the Catawba River chain of lakes. It's home to the previous North Carolina state record for a blue cat. It's also got flathead catfish, white catfish, channel catfish, stripers, and hybrids. So a lot of diversity there. Also a massive amount of spotted bass. It's a very clear lake. It does not get, because of its size and the water turnover, it does not usually get very muddy. One river feeds it, and that's the one it's built on. That's the Catawba River. Highly developed. That's the other thing. To be as big as it is, I want to say 30-some thousand acres total. There is hardly any open shoreline on it. We're going to try doing some trolling, dragging baits, drifting, depending on what the wind's doing. Just going to cover some water and see what I can find. It can be a fickle lake. It can kick your butt, but you can also catch some decent fish on it. So I've got basically one bait, and that's crappie. Buddy of mine just gave me some fresh crappie to use. It's legal here to use those. I'll be cutting some fillets off of them and keeping the carcass so it can be measured to stay legal. But other than that, we're going to drag some baits, cover some water, see what we can find. We are rolling into some fog. We had some pretty violent storms pass through last night. Dumped some rain, temperatures dropped. You know what happens when that happens? We get some fog. So we may be puttering around in the fog to find our way around up here. But we're heading down the road to Lake Norman, North Carolina. All right, guys, I got rolled back here into a cove. I'm going to take my trolling motor and kind of get me set on a position out of here. The plan is to kind of troll out of here. It's calm, not much wind right now. And about 10 or 12 feet of water back here in the back of a creek. Basically, we're going to troll our way out of here. I've got some bait here, some crappie. What you have to do to use these for bait is make sure you keep them whole, or at least keep the carcass intact, so that in case you get stopped by a game warden, he can tell how long they are. What I'm doing is just cutting the fillet off of each side. I'll leave that carcass laying there in case the man wants to see it. I'll just cut these things into little strips. There'll be plenty of baits to do some prospecting to see what's in here. So now you got a legal crappie carcass that you can use. And you got some pieces of bait to catch some catfish with, so you're perfectly legal on what you're doing. We're going to troll out of here, see if we can catch a catfish. Y'all probably know I run these santee rigs pretty much all the time. I've got some of these pencil weights on here from Dale's Tackle. What I'm going to do is swap them out for some of these drifting weights Bonetown Catfishing makes. I think they're a little bit better sinker to use dragging. This can be a stumpy lake. It's a fairly new lake, so to speak. It's only about 50 years old, so stuff hasn't rotted up real good. Crossed lines, and that's why my fish is going off to the side. That is why. And all indications are this fish does not know it's hooked yet. It's just kind of swimming off. He's just kind of going his own way, like a Fleetwood Mac song. Some of y'all will get that. Anyway, first fish of the morning. Dragged a long way with no bites. He's just swimming side to side. It's like he kind of don't care. Nice blue. Big old fat one. Look at the gut on that fish. It is not mussels either. It is one deformed fish. Football. That's a pig. All right, guys, made a pretty good pull through here, probably about a half mile, and got 2 fish. Not on. All right, guys, made a pretty good pull through here, about a half mile probably, and I've got 2 fish. So I think what I'm going to do, bottom sonar looks about like it did further back in. I'm going to make a run to another creek, just try something different. Change the game up here a little bit. I don't know if it's going to get any better dramatically, but I'm going to give it a shot. Probably the same formula. Start shallow, go deep. I'm trolling about a half a mile an hour. Nothing but crappie for bait. And just give another creek a shot, see if that makes a difference. Let's just say, oh yeah, that's a good eater there. Is he wrapped up in a, nope, he got out of that line. I think we got us the other eater I'm looking for. Good fish. Good fish. Oh. This poor thing. It's been eaten and beaten and battered to death. 4 fish in the boat. Keep dragging through here. Can't get a pattern. Everything is just scattered all over the place. No rhyme or reason. I've hit deep water, I've hit shallow. Just dragging a Santee rig, by the way, guys. Some Bonetown sinkers, drifting weights. Got a little homemade hand-painted rattle there. Piece of cut bait on it. Piece of crappie. Got the carcass here to keep it legal. Excellent bait to use anywhere in the springtime. Now, I don't consider myself to be an expert on catching catfish on Lake Norman, but I fished it for quite a few years. And one thing I can tell you is that because of its size, it's so big, it's hard, or it's hard. It's tough to go running around all over the lake trying to find a good bite. So generally speaking, if you pick a major creek, like I'm in Mountain Creek right now, Little Creek, Lucky Creek, some of these different areas, and work those things, all the different arms from back to front, generally in that area you're going to find biting fish. Now, there are times of the year when more fish may be upriver. Fish may be down toward the dam, stacked up down there, suspended. But generally speaking, you can catch fish anywhere in this lake. It's just a matter of picking a small area and working and focusing on that, instead of like going to the north end to Rocky Creek and then running all the way over to Davidson Creek and then, you know, back up to Lucky Mountain Creek, something like that. Pick an area, work it, fish it hard, fish at different times of the day, get to know individual small areas. There's a lot of stuff on the Davidson side that I don't even fish. I got a couple of areas over there where I'll catch fish in the springtime pretty good, but most of the time, because of convenience and trailering the boat, the closest ramp to me is on the west side. A lot of the stuff I fish is on the west side of the lake. So fish are all over. Springtime, there is a better run of fish up in the river, but during that same time period, you can catch them on other parts of the lake too. So pick an area, focus on it, work it, learn it, and that way you won't be as frustrated trying to cover 30,000 acres of water. Got one going on the slime cat rod. Where's he going? Is he going to the other side of the boat? Let's see. We may have to relocate to that side. It may be easier to get him in. Oof, we're picking off some fish. Like I said, it's not on fire. This creek seems to be better than the last one though. We put 3 fish in the bait. A little bit better catch right here. Is it the creek? Is it the time of day? It's hard to tell. You just don't know, really. This one may be my one last eater that I need. Another football blue. A little bigger than I want to keep, to be honest with you. I'll let that one go. Don't mind keeping some. A little big for me. I think there's some smaller ones in here we can get. A good fat one. To be honest with you guys, it is beautiful weather right now. I don't know, this ain't gonna last long today. We're supposed to have some pretty high winds coming later. Get me a fresh piece of bait back on here. Higher winds coming at some point later today, so I'm trying to get my money's worth out of this trip while I can. All right, so the one downside to fishing Lake Norman is bait, catfish bait. There are really no places around here that sell it. There used to be some places that did. There is Piedmont Bait and Tackle that will sell shiners, bass minnows. They sell trout in the wintertime. But getting bait can be tough. You can net bait here. There are big schools of alewife if you can find them. But you're better off showing up with bait. Now the good news is it's a good lake for crappie. So if you know how to crappie fish, you can catch some crappie on some minnows. You can catch some bait there that you can use. Just like I said, remember to make sure that they're legal size and that you keep the carcass intact so that they can be measured to show that they're legal. Brim and bluegill are in here. You got to work for them. The one bait that's easy to catch when the time is right, and that's white perch. Springtime, right now when I'm here, they're virtually impossible to catch. They're making a spawning run up the river. They're very, very hard to catch. But other times of the year, really from about May on, you can catch them, and sometimes you can catch them by the boatload. Usually by mid-May to June, they're stacked back up in schools. You can catch them on sabiki rig, a ton of them at a time. So just be prepared. If you're fishing in the springtime, it'll be tough to get bait. But the other times of the year, you can kind of count on white perch. Bam, look at him go. There we go there. Might be into a little pocket of fish here. We will see. We will see. Couple rods going over fairly close together is nice. Give me a little confidence in fishing here. That line is twisted on there. Again, find you a creek and work it. I tried that first one. Covered a pretty good bit of water. Isn't exactly on fire, even though I had that one fish in the teens. Probably could have worked some more. There were some other arms in there I could have fished. And, but decided to try another spot. This one has a little better catch rate. Don't know if it's got the size or not, but the catch rate's there. So, and this creek here, Mountain Creek, has several arms in it. So, there's a lot of water to fish from the mouth of it. We're at 60, 70 feet. You know, getting back in here to 10, 12 feet of water. A lot of stuff to fish here. A lot of water to cover. This is a better fish here. The bogo. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's another teener. It looks like a fat fish. A fat male. Hopefully he stays hooked. Big fat male. Here's some football-shaped fish. Boom. Is he gonna go? Yeah, about 16 pounds. Good fish. Lake Norman blue cat. It's a good one, guys. Good fish. Get him back in the water alive. Well, I know that most people watching this video are new to catching catfish, or they're new to fishing on Lake Norman. So I'll say this, some of you may know this, some of you may not. One of the best tactics for catching catfish on Lake Norman is to cover water by drifting or dragging baits. You can catch them anchored, no doubt about it, and that may be the best way to fish during certain time periods. But to consistently catch fish and figure out what's going on this lake, you got to be able to move the boat and float baits, drag them on the bottom, troll, drift, whatever you want to call it. That is the most effective tool with as much water as you've got here and as much diversity as there is in the bottom structure. If you're trying to figure this lake out and learn it, your best bet is to learn how to drift and drag. I've got videos on how to drift for catfish that you can check out. That'll give you some tips on it, but definitely that's the first and foremost thing. If you're going to come here, be prepared to cover water dragging baits. It was bopping and then just kind of went slack. Not as big a fish. Maybe it'll be that last eater that I need. Much better catch rate back here. Much better. A lot more fishable numbers. Channel cat. Boom. Good channel cat. That will fill my creel keepers for today. That'll be plenty to cook. I never keep more than I can eat. I'm not one to freeze a whole bunch of fish. I get to fish a bunch, and I can eat fresh fish, not frozen. And this one will go just fine. Finally got one to hook up there. Weird bite, running off to the side with it. Man, there's a stack of bait right there. Should have brought a cast net. Took it off the boat, save room. That'll teach me. Oh, that's a pile of bait. That is a wad. This is the first hookup I've had in a long, long while. Another good eater, blue. I may keep him too, just to have one more. Good fish, good eater size. Nice one. Well, folks, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and here are a couple of more videos that I think you're going to like.